And so, Kabirji, I would just like to, before we get into talking about the book, obviously, you know that our show is based out of Dhaka, Bangladesh, and
Yes,
you did in fact visit Dhaka a couple of months back. So I
I
would
did.
just like, absolutely, and so I'd just like to, take this opportunity to ask you a little bit about your visit to Dhaka. This was your first
Mhm.
visit to Dhaka, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes, it was my first visit to Dhaka, and I came there to do a show I do called Ode to Rumi,
Hmm.
which is a rendition of the poems of Rumi, the great Sufi mystic, the original mystic, um, and give my own interpretation of what he said, the mystic experience, the commonality between all the mystics of all the religions, whether it's the Christian mystics like Thomas Avila and St. Francis of Assisi, and
SCC.
a number of mystics there, the Hindu mystics, um, and of course the Muslim mystics. So, and in every religion, and the commonality of vision that exists between all mystics that have these incredible experiences where they sense the total union with the divine. And so, Ode to Rumi is a show that I travel with. And I came to Dhaka. I performed in Kolkata also at the Tollygunge Club and at the Birla Sabagre. Um, and it gave me great pleasure to come to Dhaka for the first time and perform for my friends in Bangladesh. So, and talking about a great Sufi mystic, um, poet, and spiritual seeker or realized spiritual seeker in a Muslim country is also a very special experience. So it was a great joy to come to Dhaka.
Absolutely. And I can say that we absolutely loved having you here. And I was very privileged to be sitting right at the front and hearing you, perform all the poems of Rumi. And so, so Kaviji, you mentioned
A quick
Rumi.
correction.
Uh,
A quick correction. I
yeah.
can't perform all the poems of Rumi because he wrote 70,000 verses. I had to select the best of the best.
Absolutely.
But
And I
it's a
can,
great show.
for sure. And I can say that I believe that 99% of the audience had come to watch you, and 1% had probably gone to watch, because it was about Rumi. But, I'd say that we had an absolutely fabulous time. And it really was a privilege to actually have you here in Dhaka because we don't usually get a lot of celebrity visits across the border. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it was really wonderful to interact with you afterwards as well. Okay, so just one final point, Kabirji, before we move on to the next section, which is I would like to ask and bring it back to Guru Nanak ji as well as Rumi. I would like to just ask you the same question that I asked you during your visit to Dhaka, and that is that even though Rumi and Guru Nanak ji are both separated by distance and time, if hypothetically they had met each other, what would they have said to one another if they had ever met? So, what would be your take on that?
Firstly, I think people, and I regard Guru Nanak Dev as a mystic as well, because he had this great moment of communion in Kartarpur Sahib, and he came out of the water and said, "There is one God," you know, and he saw that God as the creator and be all of the universe, and that's what Rumi's Sufi mystic experience also was: the oneness of God and the immense desire to be one with that oneness. Um, and once you get into the mystic states and feel and become one with the oneness of the consciousness that exists, you are in another level altogether. And both Guru Nanak and Rumi all talk about union with the beloved and union with the God, because beloved and God become interchangeable terms. The intensity of love you feel for somebody that you're passionately in love with is the same love and intensity that you feel for God once you realize and connect with that energy. Whether you call it God, or you call it Allah, or you call it Ishwar, or you call it Paramatma, whatever you call it, there it is the energy of all creation, the consciousness of all creation, that energy permeates, that consciousness permeates the universe in everything, which is why when people have divine experiences, they don't even need to say anything. They just look at each other, they know. And if they talked at all, it would be to talk about the bliss of union with that, as well as the need for human beings to understand that love, service to others, respect for others, tolerance, all these are things that are vital human values. I think all mystics share that. So I can't tell you the exact words that they would say to each other, but I think the feelings and experiences they would share would certainly resonate with each other. Because even though one talks of Ek Onkar and the other talks of Allah, the destination is the same.